My guy friend, Tom, has been one of my best friends since college. We're in our mid-20s and are both in committed relationships with long-term partners. I've never had feelings for Tom, nor has he ever had feelings for me. Since college, Tom has been a huge watch fanatic. 2 months ago, he showed me this stunning vintage watch and made an offhanded comment about how he would die of joy if he somehow got his hands on one. Coincidentally, I was in New York City a few weeks ago and stumbled upon this watch store that just so happened to have the exact one that Tom wanted. It was expensive, I won't lie, at about $2,500, but I decided to get it for his 25th birthday. To me, it was basically fate, LOL. My boyfriend and I do very well financially, so this was something I could personally afford and wanted to buy for Tom, especially knowing how happy it'd make him. Tom has a tradition of hosting a dinner party at his place for his birthday, and then following that up with a cake and gift opening. I told him before the dinner that my gift was a huge surprise and asked if he could save it for last, and he agreed. His girlfriend ends up going first, and she gave him this gorgeous sweater she crocheted and a book he's been wanting, which I thought was super thoughtful and lovely. Last, it was my gift. When he opened it and saw what it was, he literally screamed, hopped over a bunch of people, and squeezed me in this huge bear hug. I was so happy to see him happy. It genuinely filled me with so much joy. He even got emotional, and I saw him swipe a few tears. He also said it was the best gift he'd ever received. The whole time his girlfriend was only slightly smiling and stayed quiet. The next morning, I got a text from his girlfriend that essentially said that, although she appreciated my thoughtful gift, it was a bit out of touch and lacked awareness. She admitted that Tom had also told her about the watch, and she wanted to get it for him, but it was way out of her budget. She accused me of knowing this. I had no idea, and still getting it to rub it in her face to outshine her. She finished by saying how she felt like I had overstepped a boundary by getting the gift and would appreciate me not doing anything similar to this again in the future. I responded and told her that while I could see her point of view, I was just trying to do a nice thing for a close friend of mine. I asked her, wouldn't you rather he'd gotten the gift and seen the happiness that it brought him than him not getting it at all? She responded that happiness was only shared between me and Tom and no one else, and that she felt hurt by my actions. Only my boyfriend knows about this, and he's on my side. But thinking through it all again, I see how I could have overstepped. But my boyfriend says it's not my job to apologize for her insecurities. So, am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. You weren't thinking of how to hurt her. You just wanted a nice gift for your friend. Your boyfriend is right. You don't need to apologize for her insecurities. The girlfriend's point was valid up until she said that happiness was only shared between her and Tom and no one else. She needs to accept that just because you're someone's SO, that doesn't mean you'll be the only one to provide your partner with happiness in their life. Me thinks that OP did want to outshine the girlfriend and everyone else, so she also asked her friend to save opening her gift till the end because it was special. That to me was when it crossed over into, you are the idiot for me. When something that expensive, ostentatious, and important to him, if I were OP, I would have asked to give him his gift privately. Or she could have gotten several of their friends, including the girlfriend, to go in on it together, so it wouldn't be this big gift from her. But then OP wouldn't have gotten the attention she so desperately needed. Next time, spend $50 on a gift for a friend, and use the remaining $24.50 to buy a clue. You don't buy someone else an over-the-top gift, then insist it's the grand finale when you're partnered and you know the recipient has a partner. It's like wearing a long white dress to a wedding. Even if you didn't specifically set out to upstage the bride, it sure as heck looks like it. OP clearly wants to reinforce that she's the most important woman in his life, especially by insisting on being the grand finale. I feel so sorry for his girlfriend and her boyfriend. She may not even realize it, but she's keeping him as a backup in her mind, and she wants to make sure he thinks She's the ultimate woman in case their relationships don't work out. I can't imagine being so awful to my girlfriend or my friend's partner like that. You're not the main character in everybody else's life. My nephew, toddler, just graduated from preschool, and they had a preschool graduation. After, all the children came to my sister's, 37, house for a party, since they might not see each other again and would attend different elementary schools. Our cousin, 35 male, came to the graduation and complained throughout the ceremony that it was stupid and that the kids shouldn't get to have a preschool graduation because he never got one. The kids also got recognized for learning to read, which upset him, and he said loudly, "I know how to read too. These kids are nothing special." The parents behind us became increasingly angry at him, talking through the ceremony, and confronted him, causing a scene. At the party, he ate several cupcakes meant for the kids, causing a shortage, so some kids couldn't get any. He sat down at the kids' table and started quizzing the kids on trivia, and when they didn't know what he was talking about, he said they were not so smart after all. He specifically picked a fight with one little girl, preschooler. She was talking about how she learned to read, and my cousin told her, "That's nothing special. 86.8% of the population can read. Do you think your kindergarten teacher will be impressed? They won't." This led to a screaming confrontation with the girl's parents, causing the children to cry. I had my cousin removed from the house. This caused a huge rift in our family, with his parents, my aunt and uncle, calling me to say, "How dare you choose the side of some random girl's parents over your own blood?" and chewing me out for my betrayal. Am I the idiot? Edit. He just hates all graduations and birthdays because he says, no one cares that you got a piece of paper or that you managed not to die. He believes no one enjoys graduation and that it's forced on people by society, and he's doing everyone some kind of service by livening it up with his commentary. He did graduate high school. I found this way funnier than I should have. He's like a scene from a crap Adam Sandler movie. Not the idiot, and it's not difficult to see why he behaves like this when his parents will not only sit back and do nothing while he's acting this way, but actually stand up for his crappy behavior when someone stops it. Your cousin, did you mean 5 instead of 35? If he needs to make kindergarten kids cry, I'd question his parents about their parenting. This guy is jealous of preschoolers. How insecure must someone be to be threatened by small children? Your aunt and uncle are also an embarrassment because they should have been the ones to drag him out. However, this won't be his first time being an idiot over stuff like this, and it won't be the last. So he probably shouldn't have been invited, and definitely shouldn't be in the future. Attending an event celebrating children and spending it bullying said kids is a special kind of low. He needs therapy. Expressing no one cares that you got a piece of paper is really him saying no one cares about or loves me. He sounds like a misanthrope, but instead of avoiding people, he just wants everyone else to be as miserable as him. My 34 female sister, Kim, 24, is staying with me and my husband for 6 months. She took a job across the country, but couldn't find any apartments in our area that did short-term lease after hers ended in April. She is paying us rent, though it's a lot cheaper, as the only space that's exclusively hers is her bedroom, and she has to obviously share the rest of the house. We do not have a rental agreement in place. As this was just a guest room, it's not something we would rent out anyway, so if she upped and moved tomorrow, it's not as if we'd be out of money. It's just a way for her to have a stable place to crash until she moves. In addition to our 2 kids, my husband and I also have a puppy, Merlin. We adopted him back in November and have gone through all the steps to get him trained. He's not our first dog. Now, Kim is not a dog person. She's not allergic. There's no trauma associated. We didn't even have one growing up. Ever since we were kids, she just never liked dogs. Kim was aware of Merlin when she moved in, and they've coexisted fine. Merlin doesn't even go upstairs, where her room is, and I think he can sense she's not a fan, so he mostly steers clear of her. We adopted Merlin from a rescue and were told the other 2 puppies in the litter were also adopted out. Then we got a text this week from the woman who runs the rescue asking if we knew anyone who wanted a dog. Merlin's sister, Sprinkles, was adopted shortly after he was, but returned, as the family didn't anticipate the breed's needs. They're hyperactive dogs who need a lot of room to run, along with multiple walks a day. So after talking about it with my husband and kids, along with visiting Sprinkles at her foster home, we agreed we wanted to adopt her. We told Kim, and the first word out of her mouth was, "No." I gave her a weird look, and she said she tolerates Merlin, but doesn't want another dog running around the house. I told her we planned on doing the same thing with Sprinkles as Merlin. She'll stay on the ground level. Plus, as my husband and I will be training her after work, she won't even be inside a lot when my sister is. Kim said if we wanted another dog, we should wait until she moved out. Honestly, we were planning on getting a companion for Merlin at one point, just not this soon. Kim never asked about our plans when she moved in, but admittedly, we never told her this, as we didn't think it'd come up. At the end of the day, we signed the paperwork and are picking Sprinkles up tomorrow. My sister's still angry and said that this isn't fair, as she has nowhere else to go and she hates dogs. Are we wrong for bringing a dog in when we know how she feels? Not the idiot. She didn't quite come to you and express her concern or even try to explain her feelings. She blatantly said no, as if she owned the house. It isn't her house. It isn't her rules. Adopt that pup. I root for you and your husband. Adopting the pup is a noble and kind-hearted thing to do. If she doesn't like it, she can leave. That no was hilarious. Beggars choosers, sis. She's a guest in your home, paying reduced rent for her room and access to the entire house. She tolerates Merlin? LOL, you're tolerating her living in your home and have made concessions for her to be comfortable, and she's acting a bit too entitled. This is your home, period. She doesn't have to like dogs, but for her to expect you to live your life around her, again, sounds entitled. No reason for her to be angry. Unpopular opinion, but you are the idiot. You have every right, but it would be kind to wait. Since she's paying rent, it would be nice to consider her. If she were freeloading, it'd be different, but it sounds like she's pitching in and plans to be out in a timely fashion. There's no real way to anticipate a new dog's quirks and training struggles. Unlike your current one, he may not avoid your sister. It's an unnerving and unpleasant situation for someone who doesn't want to be around dogs. Essentially, it sounds like she's going to be trapped for 6 months. Maybe she'll be lucky and can find somewhere else to go, but it sounds like she doesn't have options at the moment. My 26 male, wife, 26, gave birth to our beautiful baby boy a few weeks ago. I have a sister, 19 female, who is severely autistic and is nonverbal. She can only communicate by making gestures or making certain sounds to match her needs. Only I and my parents can tell which needs are which. I do love her so much, but I feel like I was the glass child due to her disability. Everyone focused on her, and even when she was first born, I had to look after her. My wife allowed my parents to meet their grandson in person a few days ago, along with my sister. I told my wife that I wouldn't allow my sister to hold him in case she has a random outburst, which she has a lot. They came around and we started chatting about our son, and then my mom pointed out that my sister hadn't held him yet. She didn't even know what was going on. She was distracted. I told them she was occupied at the moment and to leave her be. My mom called her over to meet the baby, and she scowled. It's the type of face she makes where she doesn't like something or someone, but then she smiles and sticks her hands out to hold him. I told her not right now. He was sleepy, and she started screaming, banging her hands against the wall. My dad took her to another room so she could trash it and calm down. My mom told me that I should have just let her hold him for a few seconds. As I said, I love her, but I don't trust her to hold my baby, not even be alone with him for 2 seconds, due to her random outburst. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Sister should not be at all near a baby. She's incapable of having any control over her own emotions and behaviors, which of course isn't her fault, but also doesn't eradicate the fact that your baby will be in danger in your sister's hands. It doesn't matter how much you care for your sister. Don't let your parents guilt trip you into giving your baby to your sister. Your mom is prioritizing including your sister over the literal safety of a baby. Yep, she's prioritizing her child's feelings over OP's child's safety. And it's probably obvious, but it would be unsafe to leave the baby with the grandparents and sister for this reason. Please, OP, when you need a babysitter or are considering letting the grandparents babysit, you have to consider this. Indeed, let's think briefly about what can happen if the newborn wakes up and starts crying and OP's sister gets scared. OP has spent his whole life caring for his sister and seeing everyone prioritizing her needs over his. He was also likely not allowed to express any negative feelings about any of it growing up. It's no wonder he's questioning himself now, even though it's obvious to those of us on the outside. My son Lauren is a tween and graduating from grammar school next month. He asked if he could rent a tux on the last day as a joke. I thought it was an odd request and had to sit on it for several days. He usually wears shorts and shirts, and sometimes I have to pick out all of his clothes, from underwear to socks, and dress him. He'd literally wear the same outfit all week if he could. He's not the life of the party and has a very few close friends. I decided he couldn't because he doesn't understand the attention that it would draw to him and could potentially turn into something embarrassing and follow him into middle school. It just seems too much. I told him I'd buy him a short-sleeved dress shirt so he could wear any of my ties. He said he didn't want to do that. He wants to wear a tux. He thinks it'll be funny. I explained that it's possible that some people won't think it's funny and you might regret it. I feel bad about it. My son thinks I'm just an idiot. You are the idiot. Don't assume that kids will bully him just because you would have. He's a tween and understands what kind of attention he asks for with a tux. Kids wear all sorts of weird stuff on the last day of school. Let your kid pick his own clothes, man. He's not a toddler, and he's not you. Ironically, the compromise that OP suggests is more likely to get the kid bullied because it's not clear or not whether it's a joke. In contrast, the full tux is clearly a joke, and most kids would find it hilarious. I had a friend wear monk robes on the last day of middle school. Everyone thought it was hilarious, except the teachers. Their frustration with it only made it that much better, though. He went into high school as a legend. I'm going to chime in because I have a kid who also loves to dress fancy. He got invited to a birthday party the other day, and he wore a full three-piece suit. Mind you, he's in the 8th grade, and he had just received the three-piece suit for his birthday. The party was all boys, and they all dressed like boys in athletic shorts and t-shirts. But my kid was in this three-piece suit. I was nervous about him wearing the getup, but he wore that suit confidently and pulled it off. When I picked him up, he even said that everyone said he was the best dressed there. My kid is also quieter and has only a few friends that I know of. He's not super social, but the way these kids embraced him was heartwarming. I was so glad that I didn't burst his bubble by saying he shouldn't wear the suit, and instead, I told him that he looked great. You need to let your kid express themselves however they feel. This might be a great chance for him to stand out and make a memorable moment out of this event. OP, it's a tuxedo, the height of cool and classy. It's James Bond, not a clown suit.